All right, don't leave us yet. We've got a great panel to wrap things up today. Stephen, thank you so much. This has been just an amazing Select LA. Having been involved in some of our promotion at the federal level, I can say, this by far and away illuminates what makes America great. We've got optimistic, inclusive, innovative economy. We've got Los Angeles with 88 cities. Those 88 cities each have something different to offer, but the multinational components of each one of those cities is unique. Their services are unique. I have to admit, the first time I came to Los Angeles was actually with President Obama. And when you're driving in the motorcade, you think that Los Angeles is really fantastic because you beat all of the traffic. and, and then you come back and everyone just complains about the traffic, but you realize it's because we have nothing else to complain about. So I want to introduce this incredible panel today. I hope we can illuminate a little bit about those 88 cities and what makes Los Angeles County great, what makes Southern California exceptional, and what should lead you to invest in LA. I'm going to start with Greg Carpenter, City Manager of El Segundo. I'm going to go just really quickly. What we're going to do, if it's okay, is do a couple minutes each on an introduction, and then we'll go into some questions, and then we will take questions from the audience. So if you have a question that you don't know the answer to, we'll take those questions. So Greg Carpenter, City Manager, El Segundo. I believe we have slides.
We do.
Fantastic.
We have slides and a short video.
Oh, fantastic.
We can cue that up. My name is Greg Carpenter. I have the privilege of being a native son of El Segundo, but also the city manager. And it's a great place to work, great place to do business. So where is El Segundo? El Segundo actually means the second in Spanish. It was the second Standard Oil refinery in California. The first one was in Northern California. And this is a photo of the two engineers on the beach in El Segundo planning the location of the refinery in 1911. The city was built by business, was laid out by Standard Oil originally, and then incorporated in 1917, and we just celebrated our 100-year anniversary. We really started out as an industrial city. We became an aerospace and defense city. We like to say that the Cold War was won in El Segundo. Most of the major aerospace manufacturers are there. And then we got involved in space. And aerospace is still incredibly important in El Segundo, but we've diversified. We really had to in order to keep a healthy business balance. And I'll show you some more of the types of businesses that are here now. Really are becoming much more focused on creative industry, media, more relations to Hollywood and film production, music production, and medicine. Here we are. El Segundo is right in the middle of the west side cities to the north of us, Santa Monica, Culver City, and then the South Bay to the south of us. We're on the ocean. Immediately next to LAX, there are businesses that locate in El Segundo so they can specifically be next to the airport. Most recently, Kite Pharma and NatWorks located in El Segundo so that they can ship their life-saving serums and processes out of LAX from El Segundo. We're extremely well connected. We're at the end of the 105 freeway. We have light rail access. It's being improved with the addition of the Crenshaw line. The 405 freeway is next door. Pacific Coast Highway goes directly through the center of the city. So why? I think we're all going to, up here, we're going to talk about what's unique about our cities, and we all have a lot to offer in El Segundo. We're about 5 square miles. About 2 square miles of that is the Chevron refinery. We have a 1 square mile beautiful residential neighborhood, so about 2 square miles of very compact, very vibrant, very dynamic business with about 11 million square feet of office and about 6 million square feet of industrial space. Really exciting businesses, iconic businesses here in El Segundo. The LA Lakers, the LA Kings are in El Segundo. They're headquartered in El Segundo, have been for quite a while. LA Times is moving to El Segundo in a month. You had, as your lunchtime speaker Dr. Soon Shang is really all in on El Segundo. He's purchased almost 10% of our office space in the last year and a half for a variety of things he's doing. And there's probably a number of reasons why he's doing that, but I think it's because we've been able to establish a very close working relationship with him very quickly. The LA Times approached El Segundo the day that it broke the news that they wanted to move here, and they said they wanted a sign approved as quickly as possible. This was on a Monday. The sign required the approval of our planning commission. We had it on our Planning Commission agenda that Thursday. So we are a very small, full-service city, and one of our biggest benefits is that we're able to move very nimbly and quickly. As I said, beautiful residential neighborhoods, vibrant downtown, historic downtown. We have our own school district. This graph is sort of a cute take on a bar graph. These are surfboards that show the respective cost of doing business in El Segundo on the left. Make sure I'm looking at this correctly. Culver City, Los Angeles, and Santa Monica for similar types of businesses, and you can see that we have a very competitive cost of doing business in El Segundo. Again, this is a cute play on a bar graph. This is a photograph of high-rises in El Segundo with the respective real estate pricing of about a year ago, but it's still relevant. El Segundo is cheaper than Santa Monica. We're almost half of what the Santa Monica typical real estate price is. We're lower than Culver City, and we're lower than West Los Angeles. And all that makes for a very competitive location to locate business. We are experiencing a great deal of activity. We have about $1 billion in planned and ongoing construction. What's happening really is that former aerospace-related manufacturing buildings or aerospace-related office buildings, companies are consolidating. Boeing's consolidating in El Segundo. They're getting out of lease space. Those buildings are becoming available, and corporate very, very high-profile commercial real estate companies are purchasing those properties and repositioning them primarily for technology and healthcare-related businesses. So as I said, I went backwards. This is the story of who's here. Aerospace is still important, toys, technology, travel. And then from a global business perspective, this is where we're really seeing a lot of growth. Of course, being next to LAX, we're very, very much involved in the airlines. Toys, Moose Toys, Mattel is in El Segundo. Technology, and again, healthcare are our growing sectors. And unlike some of our larger neighboring cities, if you want to know more about El Segundo, if you want to go on a tour of El Segundo, you call me. Call Greg or Barbara Voss, our economic development manager, and we'll take good care of you.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have Darlene Sanchez, is the acting assistant director of the City of Glendale. I believe we may have slides again.
Yeah, I have a video, but before that, I wanted to say thank you to Select LA. I know the world collectively thinks of us all as LA, and that's something Glendale's really proud of. We want your sales tax dollars, but we'll still take the name of LA. And I have a video for you. It's from our mayor and our council, the visionaries for the city, and I'd love to just show you what Glendale's all about. As you saw from our video, we really do pride ourselves on building a quality of life amenities for all of our residents. We've worked really hard on safety, entrepreneurship, and if you can see from a lot of our images, diversity. Diversity, I think, is a cornerstone of what has made Glendale very special. That diversity, not only in our population, but in our retail components. So. Again, I mentioned sales tax dollars. We have two major malls, the Glendale Galleria, which every probably teenage Southern California has visited at one point in their life for a prom dress of some sort. So we're very proud of that. We have over 20 million visitors between the Glendale Galleria as well as the Americanet brand, which was a big investment made by a local developer that we're very proud of, the Crusoe development team. But in addition to that, the Class A office space, we have 4,000 new residential units that have recently been brought on board, as well as the hotel. I know hotel has been a big part of our market recently. It's been something Glendale's focused on, and something we will continue to focus on. Really the kind of the parlay into entertainment. Now, we're not Hollywood, but we do have Antioch Theater, the great Alex Theater, and now we have, let me see, it's the Austin Powers Electric Pussycat Swingers Lounge. So it's not as risque as it sounds, very fun. Right? But I think I brought that up to tell you, Glendale has really changed and diversified, particularly over the last 10 years. If you haven't gone to Glendale, I invite you to go there. I will take you, and I will take you to that Swingers Club, as well as Din Tai Fung. So You know, I think just the last thing in closing I'd like to say is one of the things that we like to focus on is the first and second generation entrepreneurs that come into Glendale. We have a number of big corporations that are of course represented through the city, but you see that trickle down to our small business community, and that's something again that we really pride ourselves in. We have a number of really good stories related to those.
That's wonderful. And John Kiesler is Director of Economic Development of City of Long Beach. It's funny, John, I am realizing as we're going along, almost every one of these cities has been referenced throughout today's program. But Long Beach, of course, home of a port, and please take us through Long Beach.
I wanted to thank Stephen and Mike and everybody, particularly the Select LA Committee and the board from LAADC for providing us this opportunity, because I think for all of us cities in and around the Los Angeles region, with 10 million people in the county, you know, telling our story, I think, gives you options. And I think that we're much more collaborative now because we each provide a different set of options, different environment for residential, commercial, and all the things that we're talking about today. So just to give you a quick overview of Long Beach, people from Long Beach will never say they're from LA. They always say, I'm from Long Beach. And that is both a blessing and a curse, because it means that the people, they own it. They own it. And in City Hall, we can't make a deal, we can't change a street corner, we can't move a trash can without some committee coming out at City Council to talk about the merits of that proposition. But it's a wonderful thing. We're about 20 miles south of LA. You can see the blue line. I took the train up this morning from Long Beach. We're right on the waterfront. We're one of only 3 waterfront big city downtowns, with San Francisco, Long Beach, and San Diego being built right up on the water. Of course, we have an international clientele of businesses, great businesses like Mercedes-Benz, who I saw Brooke earlier today, 1.2 million square feet, from assembly to their North American testing center right there in Long Beach because of the free trade zone. Of course, companies from the UK like Virgin, Sir Richard Branson comes in regularly at the Long Beach airport to then inspire his team to build and print the next rockets that will take small satellites to space. But also on precision parts with Shimadzu, or automotive with Denso, and then a whole host of shipping companies that do business at the port. We're now over 7.5 million containers, so we're building much taller bridges. This is going to be the most iconic bridge on the West Coast, save the Golden Gate Bridge. It'll be much taller at 515 feet, over $1.5 billion when completed next year. But it'll allow us to bring those ships with 18,000 cargo containers through the Middle Harbor, which will be the most advanced terminal in the world, fully automated, fully electrified, and fully environmentally friendly. But we also have a wonderful regional airport, over 3.5 million visitors, mainly business travelers now using the Long Beach Airport. Classic Art Deco. It looks like you're at a resort. You can hang out by a fireplace and drink local wine before your flight to any of the major markets, direct flights to JFK or Boston or wherever you're going in the country. And so we're just seeing the airport booming. We're just engaged in another $50 million expansion. And then massive hotel boom recently. At our convention center, which you can see in that picture, we have over 6.5 million people coming through for trade shows, international shipping conferences, and all kinds of other convenings in the city. And we're seeing a boom with 1,000 new hotel rooms, even this first luxury hotel coming on in about 2 years that are adding to the amenities for business and leisure travelers. At the same time, we're seeing about a $3 billion residential development boom in the downtown. Huge change for us as we see adding amenities, adding different types of housing. And the good news is that it's at a lower cost. I think we're all going to say that, hey, LA is expensive. The West Side is pricing some people out. So the developers, from institutional to private equity, international, are looking for new deals, ways to get that return on cost. And we're seeing that. We're benefiting from that in Long Beach. And don't believe anybody who says retail is dead. You heard that earlier. Retail is not dead. In fact, it's just changing significantly. And we have some of the most innovative retailers building projects right now, 3 in particular. Everybody from CenterCal, building these experiential type retail centers, to Burnham, and of course, Little American Business Lab Holdings, who builds really, really neat neighborhood-based cultural type retail with only local entrepreneurs. The one thing I'll say about Long Beach right now is that we're also experiencing a boom in visionary leadership. Our mayor, our city council, they're all very forward-thinking, very innovative young people who have really shifted the city's focus in economic development from just a real estate focus to a people focus. Of course, our Civic Center rebuild, this billion-dollar project is triggered all kinds of new investment in the city, but it's taking risk. This is a very complicated public-private partnership, a P3, design, build, finance, operate, maintained between 7 different partners. And I think that what's creative about this is the risk transfer and the benefit transfer we're willing to take on with the private sector and City Hall. Of course, the largest Cal State University, Long Beach, they just graduated 12,000 students this past week over the last couple days, 1,200 engineers a year to fuel your companies in our history of aerospace manufacturing, and then our massive investment in high-tech infrastructure to enable the companies of the future through our municipal and other fiber investments. So limitless opportunities. We're happy to talk more. Please see me after the presentation so that I can hook you up with the resources you need to build and grow in the city of Long Beach.
Wonderful.
Thank you again for having us.
Jason Crawford is he's wearing many hats for the city of Santa Clarita. He is planning, marketing, and economic development. Jason, would you take us through your presentation?
I will. Thank you for having me again. Pleasure to be here. I'm going to stand up, which is probably the same height as I was sitting down, so you shouldn't mess up the camera. I would echo what John said. Yeah, I think that in LA, you can't make a bad bet going to LA. And I've been to each of the cities up here and seen something good, had a good experience at any of them. And so I don't have a swingers club to talk about for Santa Clarita. And if I did, I couldn't tell you and then have you go back and tell my boss about it. But that being said, I'm going to talk a little bit about the city of Santa Clarita. We are on the north side of Los Angeles. You can fly into Burbank Airport and take the train directly up. But you'll see us right in between the 5 and the 14 split. We're the 3rd largest city in Los Angeles. We have a focus that is primarily based on high-class employment, high-quality employment, focusing on jobs. Secondarily, we look at retail sales attraction because that's where we get a lot of our general fund budget. And then third, we look at ways to bring in visitors to spend money, and that is both with filming and through tourism. And we see international investment in each of those. There are a number of international companies that are either have holdings in Santa Clarita or have dealings with Santa Clarita. Businesses, I just this past year, actually right about this time last year, was at the World Forum for FDI in Shanghai, and that was really good for us. We had a presence there and met a lot of good people. In fact, I was looking at the list earlier of the major countries, and I also just did the 23andMe DNA, so it was nice to see that my ancestors from UK and Ireland are some of the top 10 investors in Los Angeles. We are, as you've heard from other cities up here, one of the most business-friendly cities in Los Angeles. There's a lot of things that we don't do to get out of the way of business, and then there are things that we do to help business. So here is a listing of some of those. We also have a lot of high marks. We get on top 10 lists, top 20 lists quite a bit, both as a high quality place to live, as well as a very business friendly city. We also, again, have a very strong film program and a tourism program. When we're talking about specifically foreign direct investment, there's a number of ways that we have involvement with that. We have had hotel projects and residential projects that have been participants in the EB-5 program. We have a foreign trade zone. So there's a number of ways that we can interact with that. We also are a city that has a lot of people betting on it right now. There's a lot of investment in Santa Clarita, one of the fastest growing communities. And as you can see, we have almost 9,000 residential units approved to be built over the next few years, and almost 12 million square feet of industrial, office, and retail that has been through the permit process, is approved, and will be built over the next few years. We are home to the largest business park project in all of Los Angeles County that is currently in construction, Needham Ranch. We also, as I mentioned, have a lot of TV shows and filming that occurs. These are some TV shows that are based with us. One of those, Santa Clarita Diet, named after our city, filmed in our city. We do not have zombies roaming the streets of Santa Clarita, but it's a pretty cool opportunity that we've had, and it's just one of half a dozen HBO shows that have filmed in Santa Clarita. We're also lucky enough to have NCIS, which has been the #1 show for years and years and years. As far as tourism goes and international activities, we have over 3 million visitors to Six Flags Magic Mountain every year. We host a number of events that have international appeal to them, golf tournaments. Just recently, a couple weeks ago, the Bear Grylls Survival Challenge, the first of its kind, that had international participants in it. And then we have, as some of the other cities had, a lot of investment right now in the hotel and visitor industry with about a 28% increase of new hotel rooms that'll be coming online in the next 2 years. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason. And last but not least, Fran Fulton is the Economic Development Manager at the City of Torrance. Fran.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Thank you, Select LA, for including Torrance in this event today. I'm really proud to represent the City of Torrance. We don't have a video. Things change so fast that the video that we had is already outdated, so bear with me with my few slides. I think all of the cities in LA County are terrific. We all actually do really work well together. We collaborate with each other. If something doesn't fit in one of our cities, we share that lead with another city and try to accommodate that and bring and keep those businesses here within our region. That being said, Torrance is kind of one of those best kept secrets. We have, this kind of shows you a little bit where it is. I know I saw Torrance on the other maps too, so I appreciate that as well. But we are in the middle of the South Bay area, south from the west side, so we tend to be a little bit more affordable, both for business space and for housing, and looking for opportunities to increase that housing. We are a built-out city. We're a full-service city. We pride ourselves on our safety aspect. We have both the police and fire department that consistently rank highly on the FBI surveys. For safety, our school system is one of the most highly ranked school systems. We actually do have a beach. We have a little section of Torrance Beach. And we have been called out as a craft beer hub. We have a dozen microbreweries within Torrance, which actually serve as a great amenity for employees when businesses are coming and looking to locate in the city. And some of them even try to find their buildings as close to the nearest microbrewery as they can. Through our department, I'm the Economic Development Manager, but our department is representative of all the different departments in the city, and so we collaborate with each other, communicate with each other. When we're out in the field talking to businesses, we are there to share information with each other and to assist our businesses. We go out on business visits. We have major industry clusters, very large companies, a variety of companies from all over the world. Some probably know that one of the largest concentrations of Japanese-based businesses is in Torrance and in the surrounding area. But we also have companies that were founded in Italy and Germany and Australia. In fact, just today I got a referral from a German business that has a location in Philadelphia, and they're looking to find a West Coast office. So it's almost a regular basis that we're being contacted by companies from around the world. And our companies that are in Torrance are often exporters and look at that opportunity to interact with the rest of the world and sell their products. Some of the other things that maybe a little bit try to say that are special about Torrance and focus on the different things. We have, I think the biggest thing is our people focus, is customer service. Through the initiatives that we have, we look at those to be business driven. We formed a tourism business improvement district at the behest of the hoteliers. Even though they compete with each other, they felt that they were stronger together. So they formed a business improvement district to attract visitors specifically to Torrance. Our auto dealers did the same thing. We have an auto dealers association. We also have a business incubator. We also have a small downtown area where Torrance was originally founded. Those businesses have come together to form an association as well and look at how they can work together to attract foot traffic into their area and keep those businesses thriving. So in my role, I work as kind of a convener and kind of help facilitate those initiatives to get off the ground and carry on. And same with international businesses. We regularly have breakfast with the mayor, and we had invited many businesses that have a foreign direct investment in our city to have the ear of the mayor, to share their successes and challenges, and figure out how we can improve our services and do better and provide assistance and help those businesses continue to grow and thrive. Lots of development, even though we are a built-out city. Some of you may know that Toyota has left, and we have a 110-acre campus that was recently purchased by the Saris Regis Group. That is under redevelopment. So there's opportunity there for businesses that are in Torrance to expand, but also businesses that are interested in coming into Torrance. It kind of gives us an unprecedented opportunity, the silver lining, if you will, to bring in new businesses, maybe to help develop industry clusters that we have, our biotech industry clusters, high-tech manufacturing. Torrance is one of the, one of the largest concentrations of aerospace suppliers. We also have sort of naturally become a hub for alternative fuel technology. So even though Toyota has gone, we still have Honda there. General Motors Advanced Technology Center was in Torrance, kind of under the radar, developing their electric and hydrogen vehicles. We have the Australian company Tritium is an EV charging station company. Several electronic vehicle manufacturers that are startups or are relatively new are looking to come into Torrance because of that proximity of the different vendors and suppliers and partners that they have there. And then we also have a transit center that's being built, should be done in a year and a half. And we're hoping to attract the Green Line, Metro Green Line down into the South Bay and specifically into Torrance, which will be a great amenity with developing that, working with Honda with their Living Lab project on regional mobility, first mile, last mile, how do we get people out of their cars, kind of reduce our congestion. So we're working on all of those different aspects. This kind of gives a little bit of information about the city. We have just under 150,000 population, but because we are an employment center, a lot of people come into Torrance to do business. We swell to sometimes almost twice that much. And with people coming in to shop, the Del Amo Fashion Center, one of the largest shopping centers in the world probably, but definitely in the US, has gone through a major expansion and is actually still continuing. The renovations are continuing to go on. And we've worked with a retail consultant on that. We know that that's one of the attractions for international visitors and also an amenity for our residents and for foreign direct investment for companies that want to come as well. But we touched on retail as well, kind of looking at that. Retail's not dead, but it is definitely continuing to change. And looking at that kind of experiential aspect of a retail center, mixed use, we're kind of looking at that. We have a big Sears, we have a JCPenney. We hear a lot of things in the news about those potentially being in danger. So we're trying to be proactive, work with our property owners, get some advice on how we can continue to grow and evolve and respond to that as well. We have one of the best farmers markets that meets on Tuesdays and Saturdays. That's a wonderful amenity too. Again, kind of bringing people together. Lots of entertainment, local art, a very culturally diverse community. I can't remember off the top of my head how many different languages are spoken in our schools, but it's high. And I don't know, Jonathan, if I had your quote on there. It might have been on the other slide, but I know Jonathan's here from Sunrider, and we appreciate them being in our city. But some of the things that we provide for all businesses is our police department's Business Watch program. They'll go out and meet with a business, make that contact so the business knows they have a connection with the police department. we'll help them kind of do a safety security walkthrough. We have a small grant loan program too to help businesses offset their relocation costs or startup costs. Workforce development resources, we partner with the South Bay Workforce Investment Board. We have a business incubator, the South Bay Entrepreneurial Center, centralized permit center, plot plan review meetings, expedited permitting and ombudsman program, and online project status tracking. These are kinds of, again, examples of how we provide that customer service, that people connection, and I, in our city manager's office, provide that contact. If you want to know who you need to speak to, how you get through the process, how you can get in and up and running as quickly as possible, I'm the person that you contact for that.
That's really
Thank you.
helpful. Thank you. You know, Fran, you raised a lot of good points there. You know, Los Angeles, people keep talking about this, but Los Angeles is the #1 economic engine in the nation. That is something that's really important to remember because we have 88 cities in Los Angeles County. So that no one city can work alone. They have to work together. And to that point, you know, when you're an entrepreneur or a business owner and you're looking at this, I know when I moved to Los Angeles as someone new, it's overwhelming. What do you think the first stop should be if they're interested in your location? I know it's the Economic Development Office. Is there, you know, an office, a person that at LAEDC who's going to direct them to you? What's that process like?
Well, it's Stephen Chung, of course. I saw him back there. Stephen
Chung.
Yeah, absolutely. Just because of the data that he and Michael collect on all the cities, he can make it fit for your needs. I think that's the key, is that there's something out there that meets your needs. And then, of course, we, through LAEDC, we have wonderful business advisors like Barbara Levine for Long Beach, and they're constantly looking for those opportunity sites. So if there's a certain size of a property, a certain type of land use and zoning, don't waste your time having to do that research yourself. Go straight to LAEDC, ask them who those contacts, who those people are, and because they know us so well, they'll put you directly in contact with the person that can help.
Awesome. Anything else to add, guys? You know, I think the interesting thing is all of these cities sitting on this panel have had huge successes, or we wouldn't be the #1 economic engine in the world, or in the nation. So tell me a little bit about how you attract, for example, Santa Clarita. You just got a big investment, Pharmavite. Can you tell me how you work with a company like that when they come to town?
Sure. So we see, you know, some companies that we go after directly, and then some just knock on the door, either of LAEDC or the Santa Clarita Economic Development Corporation. And either way, we just try to answer their questions. We lead them through the process. We do similar things to the other cities here in terms of being a concierge to help that business with whatever the hurdle is that's in front of them. But we do see, specifically in Santa Clarita, biomedical businesses, technology businesses, and then aerospace businesses as the ones that are, I'd say, most often knocking at our door and that we are the most interested in. And so there's a lot of successes there.
Yeah. And Darlene, you know, I know we talked about the unique benefits of the cities. I lived in Los Angeles and then I moved to a city. And I think a lot of people don't realize, you know, they're going to have their own school district, they're going to have their own fire department, their own police department. All of these resources are different and can be varied, right? So Glendale, when you were talking about the security of a place like Glendale. Can you tell us what kind of benefits the cities, the businesses would get in coming to a city within Los Angeles County?
Right, and in particular, I know one of the other cities also mentioned the safety ranking. That is important for your insurance. That means direct dollars saved to your bottom line. When you move into these businesses, whether it's residential or placing your business in a city that is safe and identified in that first-class system, it does directly impact your bottom line, and so it does help insurance rates.
Absolutely, things to think about. You know, the unique programs that are available go beyond the schools. Does anyone have a unique program that they didn't mention here that they want to make sure the audience knows about?
Yeah, I would also like to point out that particularly in California, there's lots of layers of government. So beyond the city level, of course, the county, and then the state. In the governor's office, Barbara and I work with GoBiz, which is the governor's office for business development. And the reason that that's important is that there's lots of layers of taxing authority. And in terms of structuring a program that can work for you, let's say you're a manufacturing company, we might be able to negotiate with you. Let's say you want to build a $100 million facility. We've recently executed a sharing agreement whereby not only are we reducing the property taxes and sharing those property taxes, the county's giving some back, the state is reducing the sales tax burden, but by working through these intergovernmental programs, we can actually coordinate a package of incentives that might not be the cities. It might require participation from the county, the school district, the state office. And so what we found is that you'll see headlines that California is very expensive, or that it's really hard to do business here. It's actually through those types of programs we can significantly reduce the cost, and then it can be extremely competitive when you're partnering up. And so I would say that we have to partner for everything, not only with our city neighbors. One other thing that I'll just mention is that 77% of the 500,000 Long Beach residents commute outside the city every day for work. 77% commute outside the city's borders because there's $1 trillion of GDP in LA and Orange County. $1 trillion, which makes it a large country as an economy standing alone. So you don't always find that all your residents and workers are in the same city. They're obviously crossing the border every single day. So these regional transit partnerships, these tax initiatives like the Metro bond that we were talking about, we share both in contributing and then benefiting from those partnerships all the way up to the state level.
Yeah. I know we want to leave time for questions, so please have your questions ready. Greg and Fran, is there anything more to add? I know, is there ever a company that comes to you and you say, no, you're too big, go somewhere else?
Well, I did want to address what's unique about El Segundo and our secret to success is really no secret. We are a small organization, and rather than trying to find the right person to speak with or deal with the mayor's office of X, you deal with me, and you deal with my department heads, and you deal with Barbara Voss. And oftentimes, I'll get a phone call, and honestly, it's easier for me to just drive over to the person's business than to try to describe over the phone what this issue is. So you get that hands-on treatment out of a smaller city that you wouldn't out of a medium to large-sized city.
Transparency and hand-holding.
Yeah, and we're very nimble, we're very accessible. People have my cell phone numbers. We know each other. We know each other by our first names, and that's how we do business. It's a very sophisticated small town. As far as businesses that are too big for us, yeah, and Barbara and I talked about the Amazon, and we have about 60,000 people that come to work every day. We can't accommodate another 60,000 people, but that's not to say we don't want those companies in the region or nearby, and certainly we would reach out to Torrance or Long Beach or Los Angeles if that opportunity, or Glendale if that opportunity came up.
That's a really good point, Fran.
Yeah, speaking of Amazon, we wouldn't have if we hadn't had the Toyota campus. And even with that, we were kind of, okay, we're going to need to build up, and how do we bring the amenities in there? But yeah, I don't think we ever say no to anybody. We try to figure out how to make it work. And then the other thing is, talking about collaboration and other partnerships, we have in the South Bay, we have the South Bay Economic Development Managers Partnership, and we all meet on a regular basis and kind of share best practices with each other. And I think that's really helpful too. And some of us, we've known each other for years, and we know, hey, what about this company? And kind of sharing that, again, to kind of keep it within our region.
Awesome. Any questions? Questions from the audience? Anyone interested in, we've got right here.
Hi, everyone mentions manufacturing. You mentioned high tech. Is there any like R&D, semiconductors, material science, something different that they do more in Northern California that is done, and in San Diego that's done here in LA County?
Who wants to take that one?
Yeah, well, I would say particularly in mobility. So particularly transportation and mobility, and part of that is moving goods, part of that is moving people. Obviously, we have some of the greatest challenges in both, moving people and goods through the region. So if you want to go somewhere to find out where they're doing the most advanced, and this is information technology as well as our transportation systems. The ports of LA Long Beach are right up there in terms of technologically advanced. And every single day you're seeing new tech companies who are really looking at the direct delivery of service. So it's enabled by software and all that, but it's not necessarily a tech focus. It's a focus on freight forwarding and logistics. It's very much an applied focus of tech. The same thing with healthcare delivery, where you see other regions, high-tech research in pharmaceuticals, maybe San Diego. Maybe you see that also in the Bay Area around advanced laboratory work. In Southern California, particularly in Long Beach, we have 31,000 jobs just in healthcare delivery. We've got four hospitals, large hospitals. And so we're really focused, and what we see is the technology in content management, administration. Laserfish, the largest privately held content management company in the world, is Laserfish. It's a Long Beach company, and they're going to be doubling in size. They're going to be building out a massive tech campus right on the 405 and going up to 1,000 engineers because of the demand to manage information. So I would say, just like Mayor Garcetti talks about, Southern California is where we make stuff and we move stuff and we've won the wars. In this country, we have built the airplanes. Tens of thousands of airplanes that won World War II. The Naval Operations Center that won the war in the Pacific was 70,000 personnel in Long Beach, building the ships and reprovisioning them. So it's very much a focus on making stuff and moving stuff. And I think that that's where we excel and exceed. And Long Beach has a history in entertainment and filming and all those things. That focus, I think, in the creative side has moved around the region, but that's the other area where nobody rivals Southern California for content creation and then the delivery of information through these different media. So I think there's a number of different technology-infused industries that we're leading the way, but we don't call ourselves a tech region first. We call ourselves a manufacturing, logistics, entertainment region, but everything is tech now. Everything has to be tech-driven.
Any other questions? I know the whole of this event is so inspiring because Los Angeles, I think we know that Los Angeles is really leading the way, even from what Dr. Soon-Shiong is doing here, right? We've got companies that are building next-gen products that are going to really have global implications. I hope that if there are any more questions, we will take them. If not, I'm going to turn it over to my panelists for last thoughts.
We're all unique, and we all want you to consider our cities for your place of doing business. We all, I think, also are concerned about the region and our combined success. El Segundo is a city that was built by business, and business is still extremely important to us. So please consider us.
Yeah, I love being part of panels like this and conversations because as we talk about what makes us unique and wonderful, there's so many similarities. And I think it just goes to show how wonderful Southern California in particular is. And there's a reason it is expensive. It's because it's a wonderful place to be.
And I'd probably leave you with this. We've heard a little bit about it, but watch what's happening here relative to the race to space and the commercialization of space. Because we've seen the military, aerospace, and marine manufacturing that's happened in the region. It turned into a commercial, both from a marine and from an aerospace focus. And now it's really focusing on how do we commercialize the ocean, as well as how do we commercialize deep space. And it's happening here. And whether it's in the Port of LA or Long Beach, AltaSea, SpaceX, Virgin Orbit, there's a bunch of billionaires that you see in that publication that are competing. And I will say, I'll just leave you with an image. I was walking through one of the big hangars where they are fabricating using 3D printers, a massive 3D printer that prints in space-grade metal alloy. It prints parts made out of metal, multiple kinds of metal. And they're manufacturing and fabricating every piece of the rocket to launch it to space, and they want to launch 1 rocket a week off the wing of a 747 that's sitting in the Long Beach airport. And so it's here. You're seeing rockets from either SpaceX take off and then land again. You see small rockets firing off the wings of 747s. It's really fascinating the way that we're exploring the world and the new real estate for the future. So watch Southern California for that, and pay attention to all those little videos and alerts that are coming through social media, because it's building up to something that's really spectacular.
You know, in Santa Clarita, there is a ton of opportunity. There's projects that are moving forward right now that can be invested in. There are locations for businesses to move to and to grow. We are one of the few areas that has so much opportunity for new growth. And one of the coolest parts of my job is that every day I get to go in and meet new businesses and find out really cool things that they're doing. And sometimes that's being on the set of a TV show. Sometimes that is walking in and realizing that Advanced Bionics is making something that makes deaf people hear. Sometimes it's walking into Boston Scientific and finding out that they're making a device, doing R&D that helps people who suffer from tremors be able to calm their arms or their legs. And sometimes it's finding that that somebody is making, as John said, with a printer, chocolate specialty items that are edible but are being printed out of a printer. So it's really cool. There's a lot of opportunity in all of Los Angeles, and we hope that Santa Clarita stays on your mind.
And just to finish up, I agree. I'm amazed every day by the kinds of businesses, the things that are invented and developed, created here, creation. I mean, we're all about the craft, however you look at it in LA. And Torrance is part of that too. And so it's amazing. It's a great place to be. I'm happy to talk to anyone who's interested in learning more about Torrance and how we can help get you in and running.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Stephen. Thank you, Select LA and LADC.